evening and welcome to Newsbite. I'm Anne Clarke and making the headlines this week. New shipping contract signed. Rainbows, Brownies and Guides celebrate Thinking Day. We speak to the winner of a trip to St Helena and our usual sports roundup. The company formerly known as Andrew Weir have signed a contract to start taking a cargo ship to St Helena when the RMS stops in July this year. The new ship will call here once every 5 weeks and be able to carry almost 3 times as many containers as the RMS. The service will carry some passengers and travel to Ascension Island every other month. Prices for shipping have not been announced yet. However, the government say it is likely that some prices will go up as the service is completely unsubsidized. AWSM are reported to want to avoid this as much as possible. They are now trying to come up with a suitable St Helena related name for the cargo ship and want people to get in touch with any suggestions. Every year, Girl Guides, Brownies and Rainbows are given the day off from school to participate in Thinking Day. This year, the tradition continued at the Kingsas Community Centre, where the girls took part in numerous activities based around the theme Connect. We spoke to Brownie Guide leader Betty Joshua to find out more about the day.
Right, so Thinking Day falls every year on the 22nd of February, and we do this in honour of our founder, Lord Baden-Powell, and Olave, his wife. It's their joint birthdays today, but they were the founders of the scouting and guiding movements. Our theme for this particular year is Connect. Every year there's a different theme, but this year it's Connect. So activities are going on here to do with connect to friends, connect to the world, connect to the environment, connect to me. And the other one is connect to the community. So there are 5 different areas of connecting. The program started this morning with a short service at St Paul's Cathedral. And again, the theme that Bishop Fenwick took was Connect. He told us a story about the weaver ants, how the weaver ants connect themselves to their food, for instance, by making their own bridges. So they are bridge builders. So it links with our theme because we're trying to build bridges within the island and across the world. We then went to the grave of Canon and Mrs. Walcott, which is just down the road from the cathedral. And the St Paul's Guides had already dress the grave there, and we do this each time. It's the turn of the St Paul's area and Sandy Bay Guides. Colonel Walcott founded the Scouts on St Helena, and his wife Winifred obviously was the founder of the Girl Guide movement. I know the Girl Guide movement here on St Helena started in 1921.
Where is St Helena? We get asked that question a lot when we're abroad. But for one man, knowing the answer to this question has won him a trip of a lifetime to St Helena itself. August Graham spoke to the lucky winner earlier this week.
At the beginning of last year, Joe Skeet, a Northern Irishman, won a competition to come to St Helena. With me now, I have Joe, who's finally got to the island. First of all, welcome here.
Thank you very much.
How are you finding St Helena?
Wonderful. It's absolutely beautiful place. I've been on sort of 4x4 tour where I've seen the vast majority of the island, sometimes from angles which I possibly wouldn't have wanted to see them. It was slightly hairy, but great fun, and the tour guide was very knowledgeable, and so it's an absolutely beautiful island. Everybody's really friendly. It's a little bit like travelling back in time for me. It's very similar to where I've come from, a small seaside town in Northern Ireland, kind of the way we were maybe 20 years ago. And things have changed back home, maybe not for the better. Some things better, but so it's been really good so far.
So about this competition, tell us. I mean, what did you have to do to win?
It was on Facebook, and it was a very simple question about where is St Helena, and it was multiple choice, and of course, South Atlantic. Fortunately, I knew it anyway, without Googling it, because I had heard of St Helena, possibly as a quiz question, but I had heard of St Helena, so that was an easy one to answer.
Right. Did you know anything else about the island though before the quiz?
Before the quiz, not much besides sort of it's where Napoleon was exiled. After I found out I'd won, I was talking to my brother, and we realised that my father had been a marine engineer, and it turned out I'd grown up with a picture in my sitting room at home of the Edinburgh Castle, the Union Castle line. It used to do the mail run, and it turned out he'd been an engineer on both the Edinburgh Castle and the Windsor Castle. So sort of following in my father's footsteps, as it turns out.
What have you been doing since then?
Well, I've done the 4x4 trip. Yesterday I was out for a half day out in the boat looking at the sort of dolphins and birds, and I've got lots of photographs to show my friends who are into geology, a lot of ones to show to my friends who are into birds, a lot of the ones to show to friends who are into sort of marine mammals, or marine not mammals actually. So that was great fun. So I plan to go swimming with whale sharks hopefully later on this evening. So and the rest of the time I've been wandering around Jamestown chatting to people and singing karaoke in the Standard.
So what really strikes you about this island? What have you really taken? What will you really take away with you?
I think the beauty of the island is was one of the big things. But I think the people are lovely. Sort of very friendly. Quite happy to stop and chat with you, which is I appreciate it. That's very much the way we are sort of back home in Northern Ireland. And of course, seeing a whale shark yesterday was a big highlight. I've never seen anything quite like that before.
Here now is Hannah Danford with your sports roundup.
Thanks, Anne. The sporting action last weekend included 3 cricket matches and ladies volleyball at Francis Plain. Golfers also contested the Charles Duncan Cup. In cricket, St Matthew's Lions reeled off a convincing victory over Jamestown Zodiacs in Saturday's only fixture. Lions went into the match knowing they needed to boost their net run rate in order to stand a chance at league glory. Batting first, St Matthew's Lions posted 298 in 34 overs. Scott Crowey's 148 was the standout contribution. For the fielding side, Cruyff Buckley's 4 for 72 were the best figures returned. In reply, Zodiacs were skittled out for 59 in 21.5 overs. Donny Obey's 23 was by far the highest score. Philip Stroud returned figures of 4 for 10 and Scott Henry 2 for 15. On Sunday, Jamestown Barracudas recovered from last weekend's defeat to pick up a 6-wicket victory over Westonby Warriors. Warriors chose to bat first and reached a total of 145. A few batsmen got starts, but none kicked on to convert their starts into a big score. Tyrell Alec hit the top score with 32 and Siobhan Liu added 23. For Barracudas, Carla Nyon's 2 for 16 were the standout bowling figures. Barracudas chased down the required total for the loss of 4 wickets. Gavin George's unbeaten 52 was the top score. The final match of the weekend saw Levelwood Rebels defeat Western A Mustangs. Luke Bennett's 4 for 14 helped Mustangs to bowl Rebels for 185. Ralph Knight top scored with 42. In reply, Mustangs lost far too many early wickets, but reached a total of 121, thanks to a last wicket partnership of nearly 50. Dion Maggott finished unbeaten on 17 runs. Ralph Knight's 4 wickets for 17, coupled with his 42, whilst batting, saw him scoop man of the match honours. Now volleyball. Good volley Miss Molly brushed aside the challenge of volley diggers 25 to 22 and 25 to 15 in Sunday's first match. Kim Francis was lady of the match. The second match saw survivors continue their winning streak with a straight set victory over Ballsy Ladies. Barbara Harris scooped lady of the match honours as her side took the first set 25 to 14 and the second 25 to 11. Finally, golf. Niall O'Keefe hit a combined total of 68 points over the 2 days of the Charles Duncan Challenge Cup. He was closely followed by Gavin Crowey on 67 points, and Helen Stevens took third place with 63 points. That's it for the sports this week. Back to you, Anne.
Thank you, Hannah. Well, that's it for this week's Newsbite. Tune in again next week for more top stories. I'm Anne Clarke. Thank you all for watching.